Can I stand there without being thrown?
We're on the record in 2411 CR 03275, State versus Joseph Brandon Pierce.
I'm going to stand right where I stood the last 2 hearings.
Sir, you will not stand. Sir, the court cannot record anything in this case unless you are in front of a microphone.
Okay, great.
If you want to be heard, no, you will sit at that table.
Or they'll throw me in jail.
Sir, if you're held in contempt today, you have the risk of being put in jail. I have previously explained to you that I will be patient with you, and I will tell you that I'm holding you in contempt, but that will only be based upon your actions. So the court will note that we have went through the motions to eliminate with prosecution, and they have all been granted. At this time, the court will deny any and all motions that have been not noticed up and or pending with the court. So,
If I can interrupt, we did have our motion to endorse. That was also noticed up.
okay.
I have motions. Can my motions be heard, or are you only going to hear these motions?
What motions are you?
I can't have motions heard?
It's just a motion to endorse our witnesses, ones that were already listed in discovery.
Okay. Your motion to endorse the witnesses will not provide any surprise to the defendant because they were all in discovery.
As in nature.
Therefore, I will grant
Like to be
that.
presumed.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Pierce, I have read all of your motions before the trial today, and all of your motions are denied.
On what grounds?
So,
what grounds are you denying motions?
I want to go over a plea offer.
I would like to make a record of an appealable error that the judge is not giving grounds, denying all my motions, and granting all the prosecution's motions, is not allowing me to make any arguments against them, and is treating me like I'm not a human being by not responding when I'm speaking. Put that on your record.
Mr. Murphy, did you have a plea offer in this case?
Yes, Judge. The last hearing, I offered the defendant 120 days jail.
Can you hear this in the microphone? Okay. And there was a rejection of that 120 days.
There was no rejection or acceptance.
That's correct, Judge.
Very well.
Am I allowed to make
Mr.
a record
Pierce,
at all?
do you desire to
here.
take the recommendation of a guilty plea and 120 days sentence? And
Has the prosecutor provided any factual evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction that I'm presumed innocent of as is read to the court, yes or no?
Sir, you keep bringing up jurisdiction.
Yes, I'm challenging jurisdiction of the court. Am I allowed to do that ever at any point in time?
Sir, the jurisdiction of this court is plain and simple.
I'm asking whether
It's whether I have the power, right, and authority to apply the law in this case, and I do.
Upon what factual evidence do you rely to form that conclusion, or may that really just be an opinion? I'm asking for a document if it's passed from point A to point B. That's all. Has a document passed from point A to point B? Yes or no?
Sir, there's nothing before the court in any motion or any request for me, so I'm going to find that I'm not going to answer any questions.
The jurisdiction of this court. Has the prosecutor provided any factual evidence regarding the element of jurisdiction to the court as of yet, yes or no? It's the same clarification. I'm seeking to be informed of the cause of these charges that I've been saying since day one. You refuse to answer. You threaten me with jail so that I can't bring it up. You just went on the record for, 5 minutes ago and had 20 minutes of court before that telling me I can't even mention exculpatory evidence. I can't mention a YouTube channel. I can't mention the state and the prosecutor breaking their own statutes, filing illegal arrest warrants, filing illegal charges that statutes say cannot be. There's an absolute defense here, sir.
This is
defense.
plain and simple. Are you accepting the plea offer or are you rejecting it?
How can a court even address me when I'm challenging its jurisdiction?
So the court will note that the failure to accept the recommendation is considered.
I'm not saying yes or no because the prosecutor hasn't provided.
I'm talking. When I talk, you don't talk. Understand?
Sir, I've been talking a lot this table. While you've been talking,
I'm
you told
asking
me a
you a
lot.
simple question, sir. Do you understand that when I'm talking, you are not to be talking?
You've broken that rule for 20 minutes straight today. How much?
Yes or no, sir? Do you understand that?
I'll say whatever I have to say to not go to jail right now.
So is that a yes? You understand
Saying
that?
yes without keeping me out of jail?
Yes, it will.
Then I'll say yes to keep out of jail right now.
Very good.
Well, I don't know what the question was.
So the court will note that the plea offer and rejection is on the record. At this time, all of the pretrial motions are hereby denied.
I would like to leave.
All pending motions are hereby denied.
I would like to ask the jury to find me guilty right now.
You will bring in the jury. You bring the jury out, please. Sir, when we bring the jury up, you will be entitled to ask the jury questions, and that is the reason why everyone is lined this. The jury will be in the seated areas in the courtroom.
Why are they not here?
So you will be sitting right there, sir. You'll need to turn around so you can address the
That
jury.
isn't a jury in the typical jury chairs in the courtroom.
Sir, when the jury is sworn in and picked, they'll be in those chairs. I would advise you, sir, to turn around. The jury will be coming in, and they'll be assessing your conduct. So, sir, I would suggest that you're going to want to make sure that you act appropriately in front of the jury.
I don't need your advice, sir. You're my enemy. I don't dare say anything in front of this jury because you're going to throw me in jail. I'm just going to tell them that they can rule my absence and vote me guilty, and I'll take it up with the appeals because I don't have any faith in the system or this building, and I'd like to leave with my freedom if that's okay. They can totally conduct all this in my absence. Rule against me, I'll take it up with the appeals court. They're going to have an issue with a judge doing what you're doing, and I'll take it up with them. I already know for a fact this entire courthouse is a political spiral of corruption. My previous judge was removed for corruption. Thornhill, international headlines, removed for corruption.
History of the jurors, and I just want
But this hearing is completely on board.
to share that information with anyone or talk about it in board hour.
I can't even hear what the prosecutor's saying right now.
Mr. Pierce, there has been noted to me by the prosecutor that numerous members of the jury panel have criminal history, and therefore, you are permitted to look at it. However, you are not permitted to comment on it, or you're not permitted to take it with you. The reason why it will be provided to you is you may or may not decide to choose one of these people as your jurors. So you cannot leave with this, but you can look at it.
I'm not
You also
participating.
have a jury. You've been advised that you would not sign a jury list. Is that correct?
I didn't agree to anything about signatures whatsoever in this issue. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, Sheriff, I'm going to have you go ahead and provide the jury list to Mr. Pierce. And Mr. Pierce, you cannot leave the building with this jury list. It belongs.
I want to leave right now without your list. And I'm not going to participate in this trial.
There you go, sir.
So, felonies. And I can't mention child endangering felonies. Interesting. Felonies. I've never even been accused of a felony in my life.
Okay, let's go
I
off the
don't judge
record.
them for it. And I don't consider them guilty because it was in this courtroom, the court building. Anyway.
Let me know when we're on.
Oh, we're on.
Okay. Court calls for jury trial in the case of State of Missouri versus Joseph Brandon Pierce. Case number 2411-CR03275. The jury panel is in the courtroom. Counsel for the State of Missouri, Mr. Brennan Murphy, and Mr. Stephen Coble are present, and the defendant is present. Mr. Murphy and Mr. Coble, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Pierce, are you ready to proceed?
No, Judge.
Okay. What is keeping you from moving forward with trial today, sir?
Because of the 20 to 30 minutes you just spent talking to me and telling me what I can and can't say, I am too afraid to speak. I do not know if what I say will cause you to throw me in prison. You almost just threw me in jail just twice just now, and I had no idea because I said a word I didn't know you were going to throw me in jail for, and I said it accidentally. I don't dare speak. I don't know how I participate in this trial. I don't dare defend myself. When I do, you're completely ignoring me. I'm not allowed to make record. I'm not allowed to be heard. I don't have the right to assistance of counsel. I don't even know what plea is entered on the record here. You admitted last hearing on February 5th that we were proceeding to trial without a plea entered on the record. And you multiple motions to dismiss it.
Sir, when I talk, you don't talk.
I I stopped.
I will note that you're ready to proceed.
I'm not.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your courthouse. I'm Judge Vincent Johnson. I serve the people of St. Charles County here in Division 16 of Missouri's 11th Circuit Court. Thank you for being here today. Jury service is a solemn obligation for citizens in our democracy. You are fulfilling your duty under the Constitution and the laws of the state of Missouri. I hope you feel good about your service to our community and to the cause of justice here today. Today's trial for which you've been called for jury service is a criminal case. The state of Missouri has been charged, or the state of Missouri has charged, that the defendant Joseph Brandon Pierce has committed the offense of animal abuse by causing injury to a dog. The defendant has pled not guilty to the charge. Thus, there are issues to the fact that must be decided by the jury, subject to the instructions concerning the law which the court will give you. The jury is obligated to follow these instructions. A trial of a criminal case begins with the selection of a jury of qualified and impartial people. In order to obtain such a jury, all of you have been summoned as prospective jurors. From your number, a jury will be selected to hear the case. It is necessary that you be asked various questions. Your answers will assist the court in determining whether it should excuse you from serving on this case, and will assist the attorneys in making their selection of those who will hear the case. Thus, the questions will be asked of you are not meant to pry into your personal affairs. Rather, they're a necessary part of the process of selecting a jury today. Since this is an important part of the trial, you are required to take an oath or affirmation before questions are asked. Please stand now and raise your right hand in order to take this oath. Members of the jury, do you solemnly affirm that you will give true and complete answers to the questions put to you, touching upon your qualifications to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case now pending before the court? If you all agree, say aye. Aye. Very well, you can have a seat. Thank you. Is there anyone who said nay? Okay, the record will reflect that all the jurors acknowledge their oath. Please listen carefully to all questions. Take your time in answering the questions.
May I give a message to
Some of the questions may require you to recall experiences during your entire lifetime.
Objection, Judge Johnson.
Sir,
May I?
Sir, I'm going to remind you once, okay?
Remind me of what?
When I am talking, you don't talk. If you interrupt me, you are subject to being held in contempt of court. Therefore, sir, when I'm done, I will address you.
Don't lawyers say objection all the time? Do I get to address the jury?
Second warning, sir.
Oh, okay.
Your third warning, you will be held in contempt. We've discussed what will happen. Take your time in answering the questions today, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the questions may require you to recall experiences during your entire lifetime. Therefore, search your memory before answering. If you do not understand a question, please raise your hand and say so. If later on during the examination you remember something that you failed to answer before, or that you would like to modify your answer that you gave before, raise your hand and you'll be asked about it. Your answers must only be truthful, but they must be, your answers must not only be truthful, but they must also be full and complete. If your answer to any of these questions involve matters that are personal or private, you may so indicate, and you'll be given the opportunity to state your answer and come forward at the bench. There are no right or wrong answers to any of the questions you're about to be asked. You'll be under oath, so your answers must be truthful and complete. The people that are here today, the parties, the lawyers, and the defendant, are simply trying to find 12 people who do not have preconceived notions on what should happen in a particular case before any evidence has been received and before the judge will advise you what law will be that applies to this case. The trial of any case involves considerable time and effort. The parties are entitled to have their rights fully determined. The failure on your part to fully answer truthfully these questions during this stage of the trial could force the parties to have to retry this case at some future date. The court will now read you an instruction on the law applicable to all criminal cases. The charge of any offense is not evidence. and it creates no inference that any offense was committed or that the defendant is guilty of an offense. The defendant is presumed to be innocent unless and until, during your deliberations upon your verdict, you find him guilty. This presumption of innocence places upon the state the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty. A reasonable doubt is doubt based upon reason and common sense after careful and impartial consideration of the evidence in the case. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt is proof that leaves you firmly convinced of the defendant's guilt. The law does not require proof that overcomes every possible doubt. If, after your consideration of all the evidence, you are firmly convinced that the defendant is guilty of the crime charged, you will find him guilty. If you are not so convinced, you must give him the benefit of the doubt and find him not guilty. Is there any of you who, if selected as a juror, could not, for any reason, follow that instruction? The court will note that no one has raised their hands. It is your duty to follow the law as the court gives it to you in the instructions, even though you may disagree with it. Are there any of you that would not be willing to follow all instructions that the court will give you as a jury member? The court will note that no one raised their hand. Ladies and gentlemen, when answering questions, please stand, give your juror number, and speak loudly and clearly, as every word spoken is being transcribed in order to make a record in this case. Give oral answers in words. The reporter cannot transcribe a nod or a shake of head or any other body language. The attorney who will be trying this case for the state of Missouri is Mr. Brennan Murphy and Mr. Stephen Coble.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning.
The defendant, Joseph Brandon Pierce, will be representing himself in this case.
That's not true.
Our court reporter and division clerk in Division 16 is Miss Mary Ann Huffman. Our bailiff is Deputy Sheriff Michael Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now ask you several questions regarding your ability to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case. As I indicated earlier, I'm Judge Vincent Johnson. Do any of you know me personally? Okay. Sir, number 48.
I'm Joe Bureau.
Hi, Joe.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Let me ask you this. Is there anything about knowing me that would in any way prevent you from serving as a fair and impartial juror in this case?
No.
Okay, very well. Sir, you can have a seat. In the back, I saw another hand. Stand up, ma'am. Juror number 123. Yes, ma'am. How do you know me? Hi, Susan. Is there anything about us knowing each other previously that would prevent you from being a fair and impartial juror in this case? Okay, very well. You can have a seat, ma'am. Thank you. Each of you should meet the following qualifications to serve as a juror. All of you must be a current resident of St. Charles County, Missouri. Is there anyone who is not a current resident of St. Charles County, Missouri? Very well. You must be at least 21 years of age. Is there anyone not 21? The court will note no. All of you must be a citizen of the United States. Is there anyone who is not a citizen of the United States? The court will note no. Another qualification, you cannot have been convicted of a felony unless you have been restored your civil rights. That would be through a pardon or an expungement. Is there anyone who's been convicted of a felony and has not went through an expungement or any other action that would restore your civil rights? The court will note that no hands were raised. None of you can also be on active duty with the armed forces. Is anyone on armed force active duty? Very well, the court will note no one has responded. This trial is scheduled to last approximately 2 days. Is there any of you who have other obligations that, as a practical matter, make it impossible for you to serve during that period of time? Okay? I'm going to start with the people. I'm going to go in order of the juror numbers. And before you comment, I'm going to state that an example of this would be a special hardship, would be a medical appointment for which your health may be jeopardized if you are having to reschedule. Sir, as to the individuals who have raised their hand, sir, I believe you in the green shirt. Is this something that you want to discuss openly, or would you like to come up to the bench? Okay, come on up, sir. And for the record, this is juror number 6. Mr. Pierce, you're entitled to come up as well. Juror number 6, you've indicated that you can't be here for a couple days. What is the status?
I drive over the road,
Okay.
and at the company that I work for, barely let me take today off,
Okay. All right.
because I'm actually scheduled to be up in Michigan tomorrow.
Okay. Sir, you're not going to like my answer. As a juror, you are required to set aside in the state of Missouri time to fulfill your civic duty, So therefore, I'm not going to excuse you because of the work issue, okay? All right, thank you. You can have a seat.
Okay.
Thank you.
The one question, can you speak up a little bit, because I've only got one career.
I can. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, who else had a hand up?
Be here in the first place.
Okay, I'm going to go to you, ma'am. Would you like to speak about it there, or would you like to speak at the bench? Okay, come on up. For the record, this is juror number 20. Okay, juror number 20, you have indicated that you cannot be here for a few days, so please tell me what's going on.
So my job, I work on call. You know what a birth doula is? The people call me to be at their birth or early in the increasing season.
Okay.
So today,
Okay. You're not going to like what I'm going to tell you.
yes,
And that is, it's a civic duty to be a part of a juror, and unfortunately, you're going to be required to take the time off in order to fulfill that obligation.
and I can't take time off this weekend to find myself before myself.
I understand. Unfortunately, we're going to have the trial, so unfortunately, you'll have to make accommodations, and I'm sorry, but that's the law in the state of Missouri. Okay?
My sister-in-law, have you removed your...
There was another hand in that row. Ma'am, you can come up. Or ma'am, do you want to just tell me there? Okay. For the record, this is juror number 21. Ma'am, tell me why you cannot serve on the jury panel.
I have two sick parents. One is dementia, and the other is in the hospital. I have paperwork to show, and I didn't know who's headed to. Was my mother's diagnosis, as well as with her having dementia. All family police has to come and get her to bring her back, because she won't leave the house. So I have to be there. I have my daughter there that's 18. That's watching her, but I have to be there sometimes to make sure she doesn't leave. We do have some people that help us, but for the most, I'm on the show.
Okay.
I have paperwork to show.
Yeah, I don't need to see it, ma'am. Ma'am, unfortunately, as a juror, you're required to be here. And if you have someone that can care for them while you're not, while you're here, then that's sufficient.
My daughter's 18, she's in high school.
I understand she's 18, she's an adult. So,
Well, she's not adult until she graduates.
she's an adult.
She doesn't graduate till this year.
I understand. So, ma'am, because of that, I'm not for this issue, I'm not going to let you off the jury. Unfortunately, you'll have to remain. Okay?
So they would have to call me also with my dad, because he's in the hospital now. I am the one that has to make decisions with him as well. He's downtown in Boulder, so he has cancer.
Okay.
So my whole thing of this is just, I have two sick parents at the same time.
I understand. And you're probably not the only person in the jury panel that is dealing with sick relatives, and I understand. But at this time, ma'am, I'm gonna keep you in on the jury panel. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, some of the issues that are being brought up is you can't take off work in order to be here. Unfortunately, that's not an excuse that is going to get you off of the jury panel. This case will take approximately 2 days, today and another day, and unfortunately, you're going to have to take off work during that time period. So I'm sorry, but that's your civic duty as a citizen. Are there any other people that cannot be here for any other reasons? Okay, sir, I'm going to go with you. Did you want to tell me there, or do you want to come up? All right, come on up. What juror number are you? Number 61? Okay. Sir, all right, what's going on in your case?
My case is, I've got a personal friend, he's something like my brother, he's dying of Huntington's, he lives in Florida.
Okay.
He's got some issues. The gal he married 7 months ago is taking all his money, and his son's down there. He's a convicted felon. They asked me if I would fly down and try to fly him back, so I'm flying down tomorrow. It just happened this weekend, they called last week on me. So I'm trying to fly down tomorrow and then fly back Thursday with him so we can get back to St. Louis where his family is.
Prosecutors, do you have any reason not to excuse this?
No.
Okay. Mr. Pierce, any reason not to excuse juror number 61 as a juror?
I would like to excuse 61, 6, 20, and 21.
Okay. Juror number 61, you can be excused. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Juror number 61 will be excused. You want to direct him on what he needs to do? Any other hands that were raised? Ma'am, come on up. You're juror number 85, correct? Ma'am, tell me what's going on in your case. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna keep you as a juror, and we're gonna plow through. Okay. All right. I understand. Have a seat. All right, any other hands? Very well. The court will note that no other hands. Is there anyone here who has a physical handicap or other condition, such as a hearing impairment, that makes them unable to sit for an hour and a half or so, or taking prescription medication that makes it difficult to concentrate, that you believe would make it impossible for you to serve as a juror on this case? If there is anyone, please raise your hand. Okay, the court will note that no one has raised their hand. Does anyone recognize any other member of the jury panel? Okay. The court will note that no one has raised their hand. Does anybody have any moral, religious, or philosophical beliefs that would prohibit you from sitting in judgment of another person as a member of the jury? The court knows that no one has raised their hand. These are all the questions that I have for you at this time. I may have more questions for you later. The prosecutor will question you next about your ability to serve as a fair and impartial juror, and then the defendant will also question you. The court calls for inquiry of the jury panel on behalf of the state. Mr. Murphy, you may proceed.
All right, My name is Brennan Murphy. I'm the prosecutor of the state. I want to apologize ahead of time. I got a cold last week, so my sinus is still stuffed up. I'll do my best to speak clearly and loudly for you. Just starting out, does anyone know who I am previously? Does anyone know Steve Coble, another prosecutor from our office? Does anyone know Danielle Morris, litigation assistant? Okay, good. Does anyone know the defendant, Joseph Pierce? Nobody's aware of him ahead of time, ahead of this jury trial? Okay. So the judge told you at the beginning of this, the purpose of jury selection is we're here to pick 12 jurors that are here to be, and we want to find out which one of you will be fair and impartial in this case. We're not asking these questions to pry into your guys' personal lives, but we do need to know your experiences so that we can evaluate who will be a fair and impartial juror. If you would prefer to ask the judge or me or Mr. Pierce something privately, we can go up to the bench just like we just did. Okay. So the crime that we've charged in this case is animal abuse for purposely causing injury to a dog. This happened at 500 Northview Drive in Winsville, Missouri on October 6th of 2024. Has anyone heard anything about this case? We have 6 witnesses. I have 6 witnesses I plan on calling for the state. Their names are Trish Orff, Jerry Orff, Hunter Orff. Does anyone know that family, the Orff family? From Winsville. Does anyone know Dan Rockman, also from Winsville? He's a truck driver. Does anyone know Joseph Doggett? I believe he is also a truck driver from Winsville as well. Does anyone know Officer Ashley Johnson, formerly of Winsville PD, now with Hazelwood Police Department? So the United States and Missouri constitutions provide that the defendant is presumed innocent until I prove him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Does everyone understand that? Nobody has a problem with that?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Pierce. The way I prove my case is through evidence. Does everyone understand that just because we've charged Mr. Pierce, that is not evidence? Does everybody understand that testimony is evidence? Okay.
Mr. Pierce, you were directed to not interrupt the questioning from the prosecution, sir. You will have a chance to ask the jurors questions. In the event that you interrupt again, you could be held in contempt. Mr. Murphy, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. This case is based heavily on eyewitness testimony. Does everybody know what eyewitness testimony is? Okay. And there's no video footage that captures this incident. Would anyone have a problem finding the defendant guilty solely based on eyewitness testimony? Everybody understands that there's not always video footage of the incident at hand. Nobody has a problem with that? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Juror number 21.
Ma'am, if you can stand up, please.
I feel like video will show if he is or not. I mean, if we don't know if somebody don't like him or not, so we need to see a video to make sure he did whatever he did. That's just my opinion.
Okay. So, having an eyewitness in place of video, that's just not good enough for you? Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. Anybody else have similar thoughts? Okay. All right, I want to talk about reasonable doubt. So it is through evidence that I have to prove my case beyond a reasonable doubt. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt only requires proof that firmly convinces you of the defendant's guilt. Does everyone understand that definition? Okay. Does anyone require that I prove my case beyond all doubts? Not reasonable doubts, but all doubts. Okay. Reasonable doubt is about doubts based on common sense and reason. Do you understand the difference between reasonable doubt and all doubt? Okay. Anybody have any thoughts about that or any questions? Okay. So the job of jurors is to listen to the testimony and evidence and decide who you believe, who you don't believe, and what happened in this case. Your job is to evaluate the credibility of all witnesses using the same criteria of demeanor, consistency, logic, and reasonableness in your training and experience. Does anyone feel that they cannot listen to the testimony of a witness and decide if you believe them? So the defendant is representing himself in this case. He was given the choice to hire an attorney, and he's decided to proceed by representing himself in this matter, as this is right. The law says that he is held to the same rules and standards as a licensed and trained attorney would be. He has to follow the same rules of evidence, the same rules of procedure. Same as me. Is there anyone here that feels that they cannot be fair and impartial knowing that the defendant is representing himself? Everybody here is going to judge him to the same standards that I'm held to. Good. And nobody here feels that they can't hold him to the same standards as me? Anyone feel bad that he doesn't have a lawyer? Okay. Ma'am in the turquoise, yeah, could you please stand up? Juror number 82. Can you just expand on that?
It sounds like he's already been a little reprimanded before he even walked in the room, and I can feel the emotions are high, and that feels out there.
Okay. So you think you would have trouble being fair and impartial in this case if you were selected as a juror?
I think it's hard for me to distinguish between disrespect and frustration right now.
Okay.
Ma'am, the law in this case is that after hearing the testimony of the witnesses and looking at the evidence that's going to be provided to you today, is that you are entitled at that time to make a decision whether if he's innocent or guilty. So I would encourage you in this case to listen to the evidence and ignore all the other, we'll call it noise, and only focus on the evidence in this case. Okay? All right.
Question was, do I feel bad for him?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, who else had their hand up? Sir, please stand up.
96.
Number
I
96.
disagree with what she said. I feel bad because
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else have thoughts? Or ma'am, I'm sorry, we can go with you first. Yes.
I'm Director number 73, and I just want a better understanding. What did he deny his right to a lawyer? Or does the motion deny? I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding.
Judge, do you want to address that?
Ma'am, the defendant was given ample opportunity to hire an attorney and apply for a public defender, and he has not done so. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Juror 17, I'd like to reflect back on holding him and you to the same standard
Okay.
as a juror. I don't have that enforcement mechanism. I'm assuming that's what the judge and others here, official, will assume. So I cannot commit to holding these standards. That's the apparatus of the court. Can you reflect more on holding someone to certain standards
Okay.
that I am obligated to uphold?
Sir, so I'm required to prove my case beyond a reasonable doubt to you guys, okay? But also here, throughout this trial, there will be objections, there are rules of evidence, rules of procedure that both sides have to abide by, okay? So you might see me object a lot, and I guess what I'm really getting at there is, are you going to have a problem if I object to try to, hold him within the rule of law?
No. What I would object to is if he is acting out and not abiding by the obligations that he's representing himself in a lawyerly way, then I have to interject these standards of judgment, and I find that a conflict. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. I'll have some further questions for you here. Thank you, sir. And what was your number? Number 17? I saw some other hands. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on that question? Yes, ma'am, number 56?
I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
raising my hand.
Okay. Did you have an answer?
I just said, I thought the question was, you go back,
You just said, you said yes.
right, that didn't answer.
And there was nothing further you wanted to add, anything different from anyone else?
I was just concerned about what happened.
Okay. So knowing that he does not have a lawyer on this case, he's proceeding on his own, is anyone going to hold that against me, the prosecutor in this case? Okay. Thank you. And like I brought up with juror number 17, there might be a lot of objections in this trial. That's just to keep this going, in an efficient manner and to make sure the rules of law are being abided by. Is anyone going to hold that against me if I'm making objections? Okay. Does everyone understand that the defendant's questions to witnesses are not evidence, but only their answers to those questions under oath? Does everybody understand that statement? Anybody have any questions about that? I'm moving on to another topic, but before I do, does anyone else have any questions on the thought of self-representation? Yes, sir. Yes.
You mentioned ample time, but
Judge, he's asking about that the defendant was provided ample time.
So this case was filed approximately
October 2020.
387 days ago. And since then, the defendant has been unrepresented by an attorney.
Does anybody else have questions about that? In this case, I plan to call at least one police officer as a witness. Does anyone feel that they couldn't give a police officer's testimony the same intention and consideration as you would any other witness? So just against a civilian, could you look at a police officer's testimony and give it the same, or assess it the same way, assess their credibility the same way? Has anyone here had a bad experience with law enforcement or anybody in the judicial system? Yes, sir.
Honestly, yes. Just over a traffic stop, but, you know.
Okay, how
I'm sure we've all had uncomfortable ticking or such and such.
And
To be honest, yes.
Okay. And if you could remain standing, sir, just for a second. That traffic ticket, how long ago was
Oh,
this?
gosh, 10 years ago.
Okay. You hold no ill will against that officer?
Not ill will.
Okay. And that's,
Still disagree with,
that's not going to affect your ability,
not against the officer.
affect your ability to be fair and impartial to both sides in this case? Okay. And I know everybody is hesitant to talk, but this is a big issue, in every case. So does anyone else have an experience with law enforcement or the judicial system that they would like to talk about? Yes, number 104.
I was due by a neighbor in 2019.
Okay.
I went through trial in 2021. I was defendant and I won.
Okay.
It's still just another traumatizing thing.
So this was a civil suit, you said? Okay. And a police officer was somebody that had to testify in that case? Okay. So just your experience is just with, just that you had to be at court, right? Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Anybody else have any other experiences with the judicial system? Is anyone here friends or related to a police officer? Ma'am in the front row.
My father was a police officer for about 8 years. He's since retired. But I would naturally assume that having my father as a police officer for 30 years would
Okay.
possibly impact my ability to be biased. But the nature of that.
Okay. So you feel like you can still be fair and impartial in this case?
Objection, that's leading.
Go ahead and answer the question, ma'am. Sir, again, I'm going to ask you that you don't interrupt any during his direct, okay? Thank you.
Does anything about that relationship with your father affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case?
I don't think so.
Because he's a police officer.
Yes. I don't want to spend too much time with it.
No, that is what we're here for. We're trying to figure out as much as we can about you guys.
Yeah, he was very good at his job and he did his very best. And so I know that I tend to have that bias towards law enforcement.
Positive.
Positive, yes. It's a positive bias. with that.
Yes, I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I just feel like it's unfair to
Okay, no. That's exactly why we're here. Thank you very much. I saw so many more hands. Yes, ma'am, number 83.
I have both husbands that were city police officers. One is still active.
Okay.
My deceased cousin was involved in a carjacking and lost his life.
Who was that? I'm sorry, ma'am.
My cousin,
Was a victim of a carjacking and lost his life? Okay. So, anything about you being related to police officers and also your cousin being a victim of a crime, is that going to impact your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? All right, thank you very much. Who else had their hand up? Yes, sir, right here, number 76.
Separate codes.
Okay, same question I've been posing to everybody else. Is it going to affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? You don't feel one way or the other about law enforcement? Okay, all right, thank you. I'll get you, sir, right here, yes.
Over the course of my career,
Can you speak up, sir?
sorry, my company works in the correctional industry with jails all over the country. So I've worked with a number of correctional officers over the years.
You said you don't know if it would affect? Okay. All right, thank you very much, sir. I'm sorry, yes, yes, sir, right here, Jack.
96?
Yes,
My friend just retired.
okay. Is this a close friend of yours? Okay. Anything about him being a police officer that won't make you not be fair and impartial in this case? Okay, all right, thank you. Right behind you, okay.
My father.
Your father-in-law was a constable? Okay. Do you have any feelings about law enforcement, negative or, okay. All right, and in that relationship with your father, your stepfather, the constable, you'd still be able to be fair and impartial in this case? Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody, any other hands? Yes, ma'am. Can you speak up, ma'am? I'm so sorry.
I used to work in a facility for teenage boys who were
Okay. Anything about that in relation, to this case potentially being selected as a juror? You can still be fair and impartial in this case. Okay. Thank you so much. I saw one more hand over here. Yes, sir.
My stepbrother's a Hazelwood detective, and my nephew's a patrolman from Chelsea.
Okay. Thank you, sir. What was that relation? I'm sorry.
Nephew, stepbrother.
Okay. Any other hands? Yes, sir.
65, my next door neighbor's cop.
You guys good buddies?
Just talking, we're outside.
You don't feel one way or the other about law enforcement? Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. Any other hands? 50?
I've got several friends who are detectives, instructors, mentors, alternates, but yeah, there's no.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. I saw one more hand. Yes, sir.
60. My cousin's Charleston.
Okay. Your cousin? Okay. Do you have a feeling one way or the other about law enforcement or the judicial system? Okay. This won't affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? Okay. And what was your number? I'm sorry. 60. 60. Okay, thank you. I saw another hand back behind there. Yes, ma'am. Okay, where was he a detective at? Okay. Do you have a feeling one way or the other about police officers, law enforcement, the judicial system as a whole? Okay. Thank you. Anybody else with relations? Yes, sir.
And I got a couple of buddies back home that are California hours officers.
Okay. Do you have any feelings about law enforcement? Okay. You still be able to be fair and impartial in this case? All right. Thank you. Okay. Next one, this is a sensitive topic. Has anyone here been a victim of a crime? Victim of a crime. Juror number 91. Domestic violence. And how long ago was this situation? Okay. obviously, it's a very emotional situation. Is anything about that, or being the past victim of a crime would keep you from being fair and impartial in this case?
All kinds of drug personas, all kinds of people are to county and certain time due to drug
Okay. And just to go back, that whole situation, is that going to cause you not to be fair and impartial in this case? What do you mean by that?
still very emotional.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. All right, I saw some more hands. Nobody else? Yes, ma'am, number 56.
My walk to work,
How long ago was that?
like 84. I wasn't really sure how far you went.
Appreciate it. Anything about that keep you from being a fair and impartial juror on this case? All right, thank you. Anybody else a victim of a crime? I'll be you and the green shirt first.
Yeah, I had my truck broken into a year ago, and the officers that responded refused to do a report or file on the fire that was stolen from my truck.
Okay. So you claim that was a bad experience that you had with law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. Where did that occur at, sir?
St. Louis City.
Anything about that incident that would affect how you do this case?
I've contacted St. Louis City Police Department numerous times to try to give them serial numbers of firearms that were taken. There were 4 firearms that were stolen from my truck.
Okay.
And not one phone call back.
Okay.
I've sent emails, I've sent phone calls, and nobody has ever contacted me back.
I'm very sorry, sir, about that. Keeping that, terrible experience in your mind, are you going to hold that against me, being part of the state, being part of law enforcement? Okay. It's not going to, if you were potentially a juror on this case and you had to deliberate, if you were a potential juror on this case and you had to deliberate, you got to find guilty or not guilty, is that going to be in the back of your head when you're making that decision?
Probably not.
Okay. So you could remain fair and impartial on this case?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Number 5.
A long time ago, but I was brought up at gunpoint, 7-year-old.
Okay.
So long ago.
Okay. Obviously a very traumatic experience, and I know you said it was a long time ago, but nothing about that would cause you to, not be fair and impartial in this case?
That would probably be
Okay.
not fair.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I need you to speak up, please.
I have my identity stolen a couple years ago.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Has anyone ever been a witness to a crime? Yes, ma'am.
I work at elementary school, so I've been the person who has had to appear for a child before because of their disclosure.
Okay. Did you feel that case was handled appropriately?
There were many cases
So those are situations where law enforcement had to get involved to some degree, right? And in those situations, did the law enforcement ever act improperly in your mind? Okay. Thank you very much. Someone else right over there, I saw. No? Okay. Over here? I thought I see something. Nobody else was a witness to any crime?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
96. Witness to a crime or actually a witness in a trial?
Sir, I would assume that most of us have seen someone speed or run through a stop sign. I think what he's trying to indicate is if you've seen a crime, if you were possibly brought in to testify and/or possibly gave a witness statement for a police report.
Yes, ma'am. Back 120.
I am currently, have a case that I am a witness.
A criminal case?
I don't know if it's criminal or not.
Do you know what your involvement is?
Yes, I was in a situation where I was told that a person came to my face and told me, I want to kill people. I'm going to kill them right now. I get so angry. I just see people, I just want to kill them. And we were in a church at the time.
Someone allegedly said that in your face?
Yes, allegedly said that to my face.
And you don't remember that?
I don't remember if it's criminal. I mean,
Or just, I mean, the statement being
Oh,
said.
I do, I not remember the name.
Do you remember the person saying that in your
Yes,
face?
I remember the person.
Okay.
I made it up.
Gotcha. And just being involved in that situation, is that going to affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case?
Just that, you know,
You can separate that situation
yeah,
from this?
it's totally different, so I don't think that was really a problem.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? This is a good one. Anybody been a witness to an arrest? Seeing somebody get cuffed. Number 94.
I was shopping and saw a man detained and handcuffed in the bank. He was passing badge checks. That's what I heard.
Okay. Nothing about that is going to affect your ability to be fair and impartial? Okay. And then right next to, yes, ma'am, please. Okay. Can you stand up real quick? Anything about that would make you not be able to be fair and impartial in this case? Okay. Okay, thank you. Saw somebody else with a hand? Yes, ma'am. Please stand up.
Number 66. My son was arrested.
Okay. And did you feel the police handled that properly? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, back there.
Number 86, my dad was arrested multiple times throughout my childhood, and I was arrested.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing. And if you could remain standing, I got a follow-up question. Do you think the police handled that properly? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And what was your number? I'm sorry. 86. Anybody else that's been a witness to an arrest? A situation where they think the police have acted improperly? Anything you've been a personal witness to? Does anyone have prior jury service? Number 56, if you could stand up. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Prior jury service,
Yes.
so I served jury 3 times. Many years ago, the first time was in St. Louis County. It was a civil case for a homeowner suing the builder or something like that.
Okay.
Another time was in St. Charles, early ago, it was again, a civil lawsuit case. And then the last time was 10 years ago.
Okay. Do you enjoy your time being a juror?
Mm-hmm. I stood my duty, that was fine, but there was
Okay.
going to be
Nothing about those experiences that would prevent you from being a fair juror in this case? Okay, thank you. Saw some more hands. Yes, sir, right here.
76, served on a similar trial about 10 years ago.
Okay. I think I know, or I think you know what I'm about to ask next. Is anything about that going to make you not be fair and impartial in this trial? Okay. Yes, number 83.
It's something that was a civil case.
Okay. Can you still be fair and impartial with that? Okay. Yes, ma'am, number 81.
Civil case. I don't
You do not.
And then I severed state bank, I don't remember what it was called, but we were determining whether or not the state had a case against alleged criminals, whether or not to send them out to Texas.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Anything about that experience that would cause you not to be fair and impartial in this case? Okay. Thank you. That's all. A couple more. Yes, sir.
This is my seventh jury call. I've been on handled on 4 juries. All civil except the last one, which I wasn't counsel.
Okay. Any bad experiences as a juror?
No, always interested.
Okay. I think you got an interesting one today. Thank you. I saw a couple more hands. Anybody else? Prior jury experience?
Brendan, you need to wrap it up.
Thanks, Judge. Okay, I want to talk about the range of punishment set up by the Missouri State Legislature. The penalty for this offense, the top range of this is up to 1 year in jail. Assuming guilt is established beyond a reasonable doubt, would anyone have a problem knowing that the defendant might go to jail in this case?
Mr. Murphy? Did the judge just call you by your first name in the familiar?
Sir, you won't speak any longer during his direct. Thank you.
Would you guys like me to repeat that question? Assuming he is found guilty in this case, would anyone have a problem considering jail time, because that is part of the range of punishment for this offense? Nobody has any qualms about sending somebody to jail? You do? Ma'am, can you please stand up? I'm sorry, what did you say?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts on punishment? Judge, I can end there.
Very well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a brief recess to allow you to use the bathroom. I see some signs of relief from some of you. So I'm going to direct you to my bailiff. My bailiff will tell you where and when you can go. We're going to come back here in 10 minutes, and at that time, the defendant will present to you any questions that he has. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to read this to you before we leave. In the future, it won't be this long, but this is my long one that I have to read to you. So it is the court's duty to instruct you now on a matter upon which you will be reminded at each recess or adjournment of the court. Until the case is given to you to decide, you must not discuss any subject connected with the trial amongst yourselves, or form or express any opinion about it, and until you are discharged as jurors, you must not talk with the others about this case or permit them to discuss it with you in your hearing. You should not email, text, blog, instant message, or use any other form of communication regarding the case or anyone involved in the case until the trial has ended and you have been discharged as a juror. It is important that your decision be based only upon the evidence presented to you in the proceedings in the courtroom. You should not do any research or investigation on your own regarding any matter involved in this case. For example, you should not consult books, dictionaries, the internet, or talk to any person that you consider knowledgeable. You should not read, view, or listen to any newspaper, radio, electronic communication from the internet or television, if there is any, on the report of this trial. The bailiff and other officers in the court are not permitted to talk to you about any subject connected with the trial, and you are not permitted to talk to them about it. The attorneys representing the state and the defendant himself are under a duty not to do anything which may seem improper. Therefore, at recesses and adjournments, they will avoid saying anything to the jury except perhaps something like good morning or good afternoon. In doing so, they do not mean to be unfriendly, but simply are doing their best to avoid even an appearance which might be misunderstood that they or you are doing anything improper. The same applies to witnesses and the defendant. They will have been or will be instructed to avoid contact with the jury, even to talk about matters wholly unrelated to this case. During all recesses, you are directed to bring the following, or you're directed to follow the instructions of my sheriff. Leave your juror badges on during all breaks, including our lunch break, which we will take after the defendant is done making his inquiries. So, ladies and gentlemen, follow the direction of my sheriff, and we will see you in 10 minutes.
All rise for the jury.
What's that? Yeah, you can leave your stuff here.